Suicide. It's a difficult topic to speak about, but very important for us to destigmatize. Hi, I'm Dr. Carolina Jimenez, licensed psychologist specializing in immigration evaluations. I have a private practice in Houston and offer services Texas-wide. One of the things that I'm trying to do more in the community is raise awareness about suicide prevention. Unfortunately, a lot of people will experience suicidal ideation at some point in their lives, and we are seeing it earlier and earlier in age. Good thing to note is that not everyone who experiences suicidal ideation will actually attempt suicide, but it's something that we do need to pay attention to. Suicidal ideation could be passive or active. Passive means that someone is having passive thoughts of death or thoughts that life or not being alive will be easier. For example, I want to sleep and not wake up. Things will be easier if I didn't exist. I wouldn't mind disappearing. I don't care if I have an accident. So they actually don't mind dying. They're not actively trying to kill themselves. The other one is active suicidal ideation. So this is the point where a person's pain becomes so overwhelming where they actually consider suicide as a viable option to get rid of that pain. One important thing to note is that people who consider suicide are not selfish. They're people who are struggling, people whose pain has become so much and unbearable that they're just trying to make it stop. Suicide is preventable. That's the good news. If you're a small business or even a bigger business who's wanting a workshop on suicide prevention, please reach out to me. It's something that I'm trying to do more often, and I'm willing to offer 1-hour workshops on suicide prevention. Right now, I just want to give a brief overview and tell you some of the things to watch out for. So if someone has active suicidal ideation, it's something that we want to monitor more closely. So this person might have a more specific plan. They go from I want to sleep and not wake up to I'm going to go buy a gun. They have a specific means that they're thinking of using to hurt themselves. They might have identified a place where they're going to try it, and they might even have a time. So the more specific, the more attention we want to pay to it, and the more access to the means to hurt themselves, the more careful we have to be as well. In general, women tend to try more non-lethal means, like ingesting pills. Men try to more lethal, like guns or something that could actually be fatal. Some of the warning signs include abrupt changes in personality and mood, lack of sleep, changes in appetite, giving away personal possessions or important possessions, making plans for the future without them, and also very important when someone has experienced a significant loss. Grief can be a big precipitator. So someone who not only has lost a loved one via death, but even the end of a romantic relationship, the end of a business relationship, anytime there's a loss, it's a time where we need to pay close attention and check in on our friends and loved ones. So the more risk factors that you have, the more we need to closely support that person. So just to summarize, some of those risk factors are a recent loss, lack of emotional support, access to means to hurt yourself, any other concurrent situations, for example, a history of depression, someone who has attempted suicide in the past may be more likely to attempt again in the future. So always keep that in mind. One of the worst things you can say to someone who's feeling suicidal is stop thinking that way or don't feel that way. If it were that easy, they would have told themselves that already. If it was a switch they can just click on and off, they would have done it. People don't consider this lightly. Like I said, it's a combination of different risk factors that brings a person to the point where they just want that pain to end. So if you're not sure how to respond or what to say that. Be honest, say, I'm not really sure what to do. I don't know how to help you, but let me make sure that I can connect you with someone who can. So 4 key things you can do with someone who trusts you enough to share their pain and their thoughts of suicide or their thoughts of death with you would be, number 1, check in. Ask them, how they're feeling, what they need. Understand that it's not them trying to manipulate you. There's a difference between someone who makes suicide threats to manipulate you and control you, and someone who may actually be in pain. So we never want to take them lightly. And again, it doesn't mean you have to be their therapist. It doesn't mean you have to be there 24/7, but it's important that you can connect them to the long-term support that they're gonna need. So if you feel like someone might be trying to manipulate you this way, it's like psychological manipulation, call 911. Have someone come and help them. That's something you can always do. Call 911 or drive someone to the emergency room. It's not just for physical things, it's for emotional emergencies as well. So the next thing you want to do is try to persuade the person to get professional help. Like I said, you can tell them, I don't know how to support you, but I want to make sure you have the help that you need. Refer them. So 911 is somewhere to go to. Different cities have different hotlines. I'm going to post some of the ones that we have here in Houston. We have national resources, hotlines that are available 24/7. You can even text some of these hotlines. And there's also the numbers 988, similar to 911, but only for people who are considering suicide. I hope this is helpful. I'm going to try to post more about the warning signs and some of the other factors to look for. These are some things that you can do to ensure that your loved ones are safe. Check in with them, stay alert, and refer them to professional help. See you next time.